I'm ready to make a change.
I want to make more money.
I want to get healthy.
I want to start a business.
I want to spend more time with my family.
Okay, day one, achieving breakthrough. I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, my wife Gail and I went to this seminar on the Fiji Islands, and we'd never been there before. We were very excited about it. So we went to the very first session, and within an hour of arriving, they had us climb a 30-foot pole. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm terrified of heights. In fact, I've heard before that you're only born with two innate fears, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. I don't know if that's true, but I can tell you that I felt that viscerally on that day as I began to climb up that pole. The wind was blowing, there was a breeze, and the pole was shaking or swaying back and forth. And as I got up there, it was really scary. But I had to climb on top of the pole and then stand up on top of it. Now, before you think I'm Superman, I actually was harnessed in, so the worst case scenario wasn't that bad, but it still felt frightening. And then when I was up there, I realized I had to jump forward onto a trapeze and capture it, but I missed. Because I was harnessed in, they lowered me down to the ground. My new friends were cheering wildly, and I still felt exhilarated. But here was the point. I had learned to move outside of my comfort zone. And I had learned that that's where all the juice happens. If you can press through and get outside of your comfort zone, if you're willing to do that, it can make all the difference in achieving your goals and accomplishing or having your best year ever. Now, this is important for 4 reasons, and I want to walk through those with you. Reason number 1, you need to move outside your comfort zone to experience happiness. Everyone says that's what they're after, but the problem is happiness is not a destination, it's a point along the way. It's an experience that you feel when you're making significant progress on a goal that's meaningful to you. Here's how Professor Tim Pitchell said it, quote, "We experience the strongest positive emotional response when we make progress on our most difficult goals." That's the key thing to understand. It's got to be difficult, it's got to be meaningful, and moving out of your comfort zone guarantees that. Reason number 2, you need to move outside your comfort zone to grow as a person. You know, when you do that, you put yourself in a situation where you have to grow. Something or someone else has to show up to take on that kind of responsibility. Think of it like strength training. You go into the gym, the trainer asks you to lift weight that you've never lifted before so that your muscles grow. Same thing happens with your character, same thing happens with your personality and your capacity, is that when you're asked to stretch beyond what you think you can do, that's where the personal growth happens. It's also true in parenting, it's true in your career, it's probably true in your marriage. Anytime you're asked to stretch is a good thing. The people that grow the most are the people that can consistently put themselves in a situation where they're outside of their comfort zone and they get kind of comfortable with it. Not that you don't feel some fear, but you're willing to do that for the sake of growth and for the sake of a breakthrough. Reason number 3, you need to move outside of your comfort zone in order to conquer fear. Fear has got to be the thing that holds most of us back. It's that fear of embarrassment, that fear that we can't really do it, that fear that we don't have what it takes, whatever it is. Fear is the thing that holds us hostage and keeps us from accomplishing our most important goals. I heard a story years ago about a scientist who wanted to run an experiment on a barracuda. And so he put this barracuda in a big aquarium. The barracuda swam around, he would feed it small fish, and the barracuda would feed freely. But then he put a glass pane in the middle of the aquarium. So now when he would put a fish on the other side of the barracuda, in the part of the aquarium that didn't have a fish, the barracuda would try to chase the fish and hit that plate glass, bump his nose, and he stopped. He was stunned initially. And so then he would try again. And after a while, he kept hitting that plate glass while the fish continued to swim on the other side of the tank unencumbered. And eventually, the barracuda gave up. Well, they pulled the other fish out, and then they ran another experiment after training for days and days on this. Then they did it without the glass pane between the barracuda and the bait fish. They put the bait fish in, and the barracuda wouldn't even go after that bait fish because he had been systematically trained not to go after him. Well, fear is like that. After a while, it trains us so that we're unwilling to stretch, unwilling to grow, and you've got to move outside your comfort zone and put yourself in situations where you're outside of your comfort zone if you're going to conquer fear and if you're going to achieve your best year ever. Reason number 4, you need to move outside your comfort zone if you're going to inspire others. Why is that important? Because I know you want to have influence. I'll bet you're a leader. And the only way to lead others in a compelling way, in a way that makes them want to change, is to move outside of your comfort zone yourself. You've got to develop the capacity to act with courage. For example, one of my daughters this last year lost 65 pounds. She's had an unbelievable year. Do you think other people found that inspiring? I'm going to tell you, the comments were all over Facebook, the conversation all inside our family. Everybody felt inspired to get in their best shape ever. Why? Because she acted with courage and she was willing to move outside of her comfort zone. Okay, let's take everything I've said and distill it down into an action plan. You're going to be tempted to blow this off. I'm telling you, you're not going to see a transformation if you do. It's all in the execution. It's all in the work you're about to do in the next 20 minutes. I want to give you 4 questions to ask yourself, and I want you to write these down in your workbook so that you've got them in front of you. Question number 1, where have I settled? In other words, where are those areas where you're sitting inside of your comfort zone? Maybe it's your health, maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's in your parenting, maybe it's in your career, maybe it's in your finances. I don't know, you know, but where have you settled? Write those areas down. Question number 2, how does this make you feel? Give us a paragraph. Give yourself a paragraph to just write out how it makes you feel to settle in those areas. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing at the thought of having settled? Question number 3, what would it be like to feel a breakthrough in these areas? To really be in the best health you've ever been in, to have the best marriage you've ever had, to see your career really take off and go to that next level. How would it feel? Get in touch with the emotion of that. And then question number 4, what are the internal barriers that you need to overcome in order to experience a breakthrough? What's standing between you and the breakthrough that you want to achieve? If you want to experience your best year ever, you have to experience a breakthrough. And if you want a breakthrough, you've got to be willing to get outside of your comfort zone. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to move outside of your comfort zone? My guess is yes, because you wouldn't have purchased this program unless you were willing to do that. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2.
I'm ready to make a change.
I want to make more money.
I want to get healthy.
I want to start a business.
I want to spend more time with my family.